because when you hear coach, what do you think now? When I hear coach and you see somebody that's got something in their, their social media and they say, DM me one word and coach, brand and all that. It's like, what do you associate with that yourself when you see that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's...
You think scam?
Yeah. Right? Either scam or just... Not even scam, man. It's... I hate those... This is going to sound arrogant probably, but I feel like it's like beneath me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. the Kendrick song, Not Like Us. Like, okay, that's different than anything I'm doing, dude. So much freaking different. And I've had guys like that, Brad being one of them, that tried to talk. I mean, it's public. He put it in his interview, or on his podcast. Why don't you come do this? You could sell courses. And why are you having a dinner at a freaking Tampa Bay casino only charging $75? Charge $800. They're getting access to you, man. I go, buddy, that's not my lane.
Another episode of Adversity Kings, and we got John Cerasani.
Look at you, man, on the come up, bro.
I know.
Went from, where did I meet you for originally? Lombard? Was
it
Lombard? Yeah.
Lombard.
Office building in Lombard, now a podcast studio in Miami Beach. What's next, man? Freaking Dubai?
Dude, you know what? You've influenced me over it's got to be almost going on 3 years of knowing you in the Chicago area, and I was out there networking, trying to build my, my insurance business I was associated with prior. And I remember showing you like my gross 1099, and you were like, "Oh, it's good money. Like, what are you keeping?" And I was like, "Honestly, not much." And you were like, "How are you not keeping much?" And I was like, "I don't know." You're like, "Do you own the business?" I was like, "No, my name's on the building. I have a cool title." And, you know what I mean? Like, I've got some control. It's like, "You own anything?" I was like, "No, I don't really, own much." And start studying you. I, saw you were in an insurance company, you exited an insurance company, and you called it paid training. You wrote a book, Paid Training. Then you had the 2,000% raise. And like, I think a lot of people don't realize like the content you put out, it's real. It's not content of like you just creating it based off of like, hey, what do the people want to hear? It's like, no, you actually created the life that you live.
Yep.
Based off of everything that you were talking about. And the cool thing is I've never seen you sell a course.
Yeah.
I've never seen you sell really anything. And then the things you have put together, you sell it for the absolute low. I remember going to a networking event with you in Vegas you put on, and I got to meet Bob Mannery, Dana White. Yep. And I think the trip cost me 10 times more of like me paying for my trip stuff than like going to the event. It was like a couple $100 or something like that. It was the cheapest networking event that I ever went to that I got the most value out of. That like changed the course of my marketing. Yeah.
Well, it's funny, man. With those events, dude, it's hard to really make any money on these things. Yeah. The move is to have these events, and if you're going to do low tickets, you got to get in a big auditorium with a bunch of people, and then you sales funnel it upward. And guys, listen, the whole Instagram guru thing with these coaches and all this stuff, they mastered it. The Inspire Tour or whatever the hell those guys are on. Oh, it's only $99. Yeah, dude, but that's like to keep their lights on. They're really trying to sell you a bunch of other stuff. And this is something that's been out there forever, man. I mean, I remember when I was your age, there was no Instagram, right? And we were going to like auditoriums to listen to these sales professionals speak and stuff, and there was always something that they were selling you. You know what I mean? How to build a side hustle, how to day trade or something like that. But the $49 you got to hear them speak, but then it was really just a commercial you're paying for there. You know what I mean? So like I never wanted to be that guy. Now if you told me, hey John, keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to be one of the guys that's maybe not made fun of and is legitimate, and not that they're all not legitimate, but like a Tony Robbins or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's like the god of that category, right? Well, literally. Shoot, of course I would go down that lane. But the problem is on the way to trying to get up to that level, you're passing up a lot of guys that you're going to be mixed in with, that people are going to confuse you for, that are people selling businesses, people trying to sell you a coaching business when the coaching business is just to teach you how to go recruit other people for your coaching business. Yeah. But dude, why am I going to teach coaches how to coach coaches? Like, where's the actual underlying business here? Yeah. And then there's some people that have had success in business, but then they repackage it to be just what I said, coaching coaches, coaching coaches. And some of them are successful with it, like a very good, there's a guy named Dave Meltzer that I've networked with that is a friend of mine. And, he's got a sophisticated network of people. He's been a part of big companies like Samsung, for instance, and he was part of Lee Steinberg's sports agency, so he's well connected. But even him, it's like, he's still leveraging his network of people that you're accessing now by being part of one of his programs. And if there's anyone that does it where it's okay, I like how he does it, he would be one of the guys. But there's other people that do that crap that don't even have that network, that are just full of crap. Their only network is, you know, you get David Meltzer's network. You want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a person, and you want to raise some money. Hey, he's going to introduce you to some of his venture capitalist friends. Oh, you want to set up shop in Texas? Hey, I got a lawyer down there in my network that you know what I mean? That's good stuff. But a lot of these guys, dude, they're just networking with each other, and it's other coaches, you know what I mean? And it's all just about mindset and that stuff, and which is fine. Just know what you're buying, man. So anyway, that's not me. I don't want to be in that category. You know what I mean? And that's kind of put me in this weird spot where my social media presence has gotten pretty damn popular, and everyone's like kind of looking at it, look, what's the catch? Where's the sale come in? And there really isn't one. You know what I mean? So I kind of digressed a little bit, but my point was going to be, when I did that Vegas event that you're talking about, I think tickets were like $400. I did a nice day and a half thing. We had different Randy Couture spoke at it. I had we had a couple of good big
NFL
people.
Guy.
Yeah. Icky Woods came. Who, by the way, if you don't know who Icky Woods is, he's a great running back in the 80s, and his career got cut close. But he did a great freaking speech on, you know, what he's doing now and how life after football turned for him. And his son passed away from an asthma attack, so it's his mission to educate people on asthma awareness. But, you know, I just looked at it, and it's like, dude, if I'm going to make any money on this, it ain't going to come from the ticket prices. There needs to be that next level. So I do all that work really to make no money, dude. And, you know, I think the move would be if I could get sponsors to come, hey, let me sponsor this. And I have a company that wants to pay me $25,000 or something like that, and get a few of those guys. Hey, now let's go do this. But the only other way is to start, instead of that $400 ticket, start charging $1,500 a ticket. And then, hey, you want to come to this dinner that only 10 people are going to be at? That's an extra $3,000. Now I've gone down that lane of cheesiness that I don't want to be in. You know what I mean?
I've always respected that about you, because, you know, I've mixed in on my entrepreneurial kind of evolution of trying to get as much brand awareness as possible in marketing. I've done podcasts and marketing with different guys along the way, and you know, I respect all these guys that I've worked with. But people ask, like, is that what you're going for? You going for the, you know, the Wes Watson type of Andy Elliott vibe or any of that? And it's like, no, that's not my vibe. I've done work, you know, with some of these guys, and I respect cash. You know, if you get cash, hopefully, you know, as long as you're doing it the right way, then then respect to you. But like ultimately though, for myself, and one thing I respect about you and the people that I am associating with is I like the building a legitimate business and having something that people like investors, venture capitalists, people can sit down and look at and say, this is something we'd consider buying. It's hard to transfer or say, hey, how can I sell my coaching business? That's not something I hear people buying.
No, you can't buy that. It's you.
I mean?
You're selling yourself. You have to be you then. You scale it like the people you just named it, Wes Watson and Andy Elliott. They scale it, but I don't think you could really actually sell the actual business. Not that I'm aware of, but I've never looked into it. I'm not interested in it. But you just hit the nail on the head though, dude. Once you start talking about venture capital. So for me, I left my job as a W-2 employee when I was 27 years old to start my own insurance agency. And I've developed a niche within that, competing against like the behemoths in the insurance industry, Marsh, Aon, Arthur J. Gallagher. I'm going after the same kind of clients they're getting. I'm not going downstream. I'm not going to right hair salons and, you know, nail parlors, because that's the only people I could get as a client now that I'm in the corporate insurance game. No, man, we're going to stay up there in that middle market, bro. I got to compete head to head with these guys. Willis, as in the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower, that's my competitor. They're going after the same client I'm getting. So what's my value proposition going to be for that client to pick me over them? And guys, I came up with one. Now it wasn't one that everybody bought into, but enough bought into that make me a multimillionaire. Where I could have just kept my W-2 job, which happened to be at Gallagher, and not being on your podcast right now, I'd be some dude making a couple $100,000 thinking I'm awesome and going golfing on the weekends. Look how cool I am. No, dude.
Chief executive dick sucker. I always ask my guys, like, send me that video. Where's the title video?
Exactly. I think I took it down. Well, that's a whole nother story. But you know, you start looking at like, just because you said their names, I'll go there. I don't have a problem with people like Wes Watson and Andy Elliott, to be honest with you. A lot of people think I do. Me and this guy Brad Lee got into it once on his podcast where this kind of subject came up. And there's just a distinction, dude. Like, I came from a white collar environment. I'm not a white collar guy growing up, but I came from a white collar environment and I succeeded there, going against people on paper that were a lot smarter than me, going against companies that were obviously way more established than my crappy little company. Okay. And I won. All right. Once I start engaging in conversations or even just the content with some of the people that we just mentioned, it's not like a sophisticated, like, back and forth. It's not like a very intellectual conversation. I'm not trying to say that they're stupid or anything like that, but Andy's a car salesman and he teaches you how to sell and freaking close deals. And that's very different than a business to business professional sales environment than sales skills to close the deal today. Yeah. Okay. Now you might have a lot of followers that are guys like you, maybe that never went to college, maybe some guys that have been in and out of trouble their whole life. And their best bet is to get into an industry like that. Their best bet is to be able to sit at a closing table and close that individual. And good for them. So there's a place for these guys, man. There's a place for these guys. You know, Wes Watson too, bro. People give him a hard time, and I've given him a hard time a little bit, but it's really just been more tongue in cheek. And I probably shouldn't have, because we don't know each other, and I'm sure stuff has trickled back to him. Bro, anyone that gets out of prison and decides to do something positive with their life afterward is a winner in my freaking book. Okay. I don't know him personally. Do I think it's cool that he's like doing like prison hand signals from his Lamborghini or whatever? I mean, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's entertaining. Would I pay to come to his house and sit in the backyard and do burpees while he yells at me? I probably wouldn't. But there's people that would, that really have benefited from it. You know, I got this guy that follows me, and we were going back and forth. He always comments on my stuff. His name's Perry. God, what's his Instagram account? Perry's Power or something like that. And if you look at him, he looks just like Wes. He's got the little tattoo, his beard, he yells and all this stuff. And his whole thing is like, he turns out he went through Wes's programs. And he goes, dude, people give him a hard time, man. If you actually follow what he's saying, you could build a business doing exactly what he said, and I'm proof of that. And then a lot of the stuff is polarizing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you're fat. You know, do you want to be fat? You should be. You look in the mirror. You think you're a good example for your kids. I mean, some of the stuff's mean, but there is, you know, a place for that for those people. It's not the direction I personally would ever go. I got to tell you though, I don't know what all those guys' future is. I hope they're banking money and keeping it right now and investing it in something that has nothing to do with what they're doing now. Because I think that during the pandemic, especially, this whole online coaching mindset exploded. I think it kind of exploded, and now over time, it's going to get less and less.
Because when you hear coach, what do you think now? When I hear coach and you see somebody that's got something in their, you know, their social media and they say, DM me one word and coach, brand and all that. It's like, what do you associate with that yourself when you see that?
I mean, I think it's...
You think scam?
Either scam or just... Not even scam, man. It's... I hate those... This is going to sound arrogant probably, but I feel like it's like beneath me. You know what I mean? Like, okay. That was the Kendrick song, Not Like Us. Like, okay, that's different than anything I'm doing, dude. So much freaking different. And I've had guys like that, Brad being one of them, that tried to talk... I mean, it's public. He put it in his interview, you know, or on his podcast. Why don't you come do this? You could sell courses. And why are you having a dinner at a freaking Tampa Bay casino only charging $75? Charge $800. They're getting access to you, man. I go, buddy, that's not my lane. And guys that are in that lane can't understand that. Well, what are you doing on social media then? What's your purpose in life? Not to freaking rip people off. I know you guys don't think you're ripping people off, but I guess I give that stuff away for free, and I'm an idiot. Who knows? I don't think I'm an idiot.
It also goes to show if someone, like, if there's someone's really pushing, you know, a ticket, an item, or some type of course or something, did they make it anywhere else? You know what I mean? Because like there's another guy I get a lot of good mentorship from down here, and he likes a lot of your content too. Anytime I post with you, his name's Eric Spofford. So he sold a...
Oh, you know Eric?
Yeah,
dude, we started following each other recently. But he's kind of in that category we're talking about, right? Isn't he selling courses?
So he's got a Section 8 course. It's $60.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like he ain't making like millions of dollars off of it.
Okay.
But he sold a rehab business for $100 million plus.
Okay.
Built it for like 13, 14 years. But anytime I meet with him, he's got a yacht down here. He's like, he took me and Gally on his yacht, and he had like a little just a networking group on there. And he pointed at all the yachts and he was like, you know who owns all these yachts? And we're like, no idea. He's like, not a single online coach. People that built real businesses and sold real businesses.
Yeah.
And you know, just that energy, you know, the similarity of you guys of building a business, going business for yourself, and just going all in, risking for yourself, and like not submitting to the man. And it's like picking up that title and selling out your dreams for, oh, well, I'm the chief regional manager of my team, and you know, I've got this and I've got that. And I look at that. I look at guys like Patrick David, and it's like I'd rather fail or spend years of failing and trying to build something in my life, you know, trying to do something that you guys have done, opposed to let me go on social media and pretend to be something that I'm not and rack up money that way.
Yeah, and even if they are that, dude, it's so I tried to do, so during the pandemic a couple years ago, I don't remember, I guess maybe it was even after the pandemic, you know, people get in my ear, dude, you could be making all this money, bro. These guys are going to buy a course from somebody. Why you actually have something to say? Yeah. Why are you letting them go spend their money elsewhere? You might as well put something out there. You're not ripping people off. You're a better alternative than what's there. So, dude, I do all this stuff, start going this direction with this company, and we set up a Kajabi account. We have these lessons, all this stuff, and we're going to do a Telegram group, all this crap, man. And here's the deal, man. You need, like, it's one thing to get people to join your Telegram group or Discord group for $50 a month or $500 for the year or whatever the heck you charge. Okay, that's the one thing. But that next level up, where it gets into the one-on-one coaching and weekly calls, one-on-one, now you're starting talking about bigger ticket items and whatever you charge for that. So say it's like $5,000 or something. Yeah. We put this package together, crap I had out there. You need a high ticket closer. Those high ticket closers now, hey, I work for John, here's the deal. And then they're trying to press this person to spend that money. Yeah. So I had something out there, dude, and I didn't want to get the high ticket closer. And I had these guys, I had like some people sign up. It was like $750 to include A, B, and C. And I knew almost immediately as soon as I rolled the damn thing out, because I didn't even have a closer. I was just doing it myself on DMs. I'm like, dude, I hate trying to close these guys on DMs. Either you want to do it or not. So I started talking more people out of it than in it. I could tell this person only wants to do it because they just want to hang out with me or something like that. Yeah. Hey, man, just based on what your job is and where you're at in life, I don't think you're going to get an ROI on this. Just DM me if you have any questions on what you're trying to do. Yeah. So I'm doing that more than I am closing the damn people. Yeah. And then the people I did close, I did this literally for about 8 days. And then I'm like, I took it all down. Yeah. After we put all this work into Kajabi and stuff, I took it all down. And I'll never forget it, man. There was this one guy that paid me $750. Dude, he was calling me all the freaking time, had a million questions, and it was definitely money worth it for him. He's had this video about franchising, how to do this, had a special guest, put them in touch, and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I'm like, dude, I'm not really comfortable charging much more than that, and this ain't worth it for what they expect for that $750. Yeah. So, this is the last time I do this, and I stopped doing it, okay? Yeah. Fast forward a year later, okay, not too long, probably a few months back now, I don't even remember exactly. But I had put something somewhere, somebody had said, oh, what course are you selling me, buddy, or something like that, based on a comment on one of my videos. And I go, dude, I don't sell courses, I've never sold a course. Well, the guy I'm talking about DMs me, come on, John, don't BS yourself, in screenshots. He goes, I don't want to embarrass you on your own page, but, and it's the guy from a year and a half earlier. I go, I don't remember his name or anything like that. I go, buddy, I sold maybe a handful of them, and I hated it from the second I started. I'm pretty sure I refunded people or told them not to do it in the first place. Yeah. He goes, no, you didn't with me. And then I looked back. Then I went into my phone. He had my cell phone number. I look at our thread. I look at our emails. Thank you. This has been so valuable. Thank you. This has been so valuable. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah. But he was still wanted the refund. Yeah. Did I refunded him the freaking money? Yeah. And block him. Yeah, but I didn't even block him at first. Yeah. I refunded him the money. And then crap you not, he reaches out to me 2 days later with some kind of like business question or something like that. And at that point I blocked him. Wow. I go, dude, you got to be effing kidding me. And the guy is not self-aware, completely clueless. Dude, I've messaged with you at least 30 times. We talked on the phone 3 times. You paid me $750 a year ago. Yeah. And now, you know, you want a refund, and now you're coming back to me. I go, buddy, I get it, but it's like, dude, I don't want to break the news to him. I go, you're the reason I don't do it, to be honest with you. There's got to be some type of like irony in the people that aggressively seek coaching. Yeah. You got to think, like, where does that come from? I feel like it comes from like this desire
of somebody that just ultimately wants to hear some type of shortcut. Like, oh man, I hope John just tells me there's a way I can get $50 million without having to sit at my kitchen table, wonder how I'm going to make payroll, make ends meet for 10 years before I can sell.
That's exactly what happened with this guy. They wanted to know the roadmap to being a millionaire next year. And my stuff was educated, putting this information out in front of them, telling them the pros and the cons of different things, and then putting them in a position to make their own decision. And the problem is people buying these coaching programs aren't smart enough to figure that out on their own. Yeah. So you know, maybe Wes has it right. Yeah. I'm like, hey, idiot, I told you to do this. You didn't do this. Are you a moron? And then, somebody ends up screen recording it and then ends up on Baller Busters. But maybe he's got it right. Yeah. That's exactly what we're saying. Dude, don't pay me your freaking money if you're not going to listen to me, you know?
Yeah.
So again, man, you've seen both sides of it, and I've seen what, you know, it doesn't work. In my perfect world, bro, I got entrepreneurs following me, and I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to Malibu, or Malibu's a bad example right now with the fires, but I'm going to Newport Beach. We're going to have a dinner at Mastro's Ocean Prime. It's going to be $500 a head. My cost for that's probably going to be $350 a head, by the way, and then I'll bring in a couple guests that are comped, and now I'd probably make zero. Hey, and if you want to do a half-day workshop with me tomorrow, it's an extra couple grand, and we're going to sit here. It's going to be a meeting of the minds. Yeah. You know, and I'm going to bring my resources to the table. Hey, let's do that. Yeah. I would like to do that. I would do that if the right people showed up to that. Yeah. The problem is that meeting of the minds is going to be a bunch of freaking people that don't deserve to be at that table that came up with the $2 grand. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So now there's coaches watching this right now that are like, no, you still do it, but you make sure the right people are there too, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, then I'm leveraging my network. I don't know about you, dude, but if you keep inviting me to dinners and stuff, and it's to impress people that are paying you $2 grand, and I'm coming for free, so you can keep charging people $2 grand.
I mean, I think it's like common sense. It's like, all right, if I get John here and I make some money or something like that, like there's a cutback or a full transparency. Because I had you at the office event before I shut down and exited from my prior company. Yep. And you would ask me, you're like, you trying to make a couple bucks off of this? And I was like, yeah, I am. And you're like, I can't, like, I appreciate you. You're nice. You didn't give me a West cuss out, but you were nice. You were like, all right, well, listen, you run it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not what I'm doing with my brand. You know what I mean? But I'll come up if you don't make it cheesy and there's not a lot of money. And I immediately shut down. I was like, I don't even think we sold any tickets or anything like that. But I was like, I'm going to see if I can get a big name. A couple bucks. I'm exiting. I need some capital. Yeah. But it worked out tremendously. Because I would have said yes to you, then you're going to make some flyer. Dude, someone's going to do it. John Cerasani's coming to pay me $1 million.
Exactly. I'm going to be on Baller Busters. Yeah. But actually, I got to tell you, Baller Busters
they're nice to you.
Well, they comment on all my stuff, and I comment on there because they know I'm real and I'm not full of crap. Yeah. But the thing about those guys is I think it's good that they exist. Yeah. They do kind of get mean sometimes. Like some of the stuff is like, I know Wes Watson isn't someone that is deserving of much sympathy, but I kind of feel bad sometimes. I go, bro, come on, dude, that was a little mean. But no, and I think there's going to be more and more Baller Busters attitudes out there moving over. I think it's going to be that's going to progressively grow that mindset where the coaching coaches business is going to progressively
guys similar to you that I have in my network are like, man, that coaching business, it's gonna pop. You know what I mean? It may not all completely go away. Yeah, but it's gonna pop. And the FTC actually has cracked down on some people. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, there's some actual legitimate regulations that I don't know if they implemented them last year or they went into effect. They'll go into effect this year. I think sometime toward the end of fourth quarter last year, there was somebody even in Miami that they went after because you can't make promises when it comes to coaching. Interesting. And like staple a financial guarantee to it because it's like, what do they call it when you like false advertising or something like that? Something similar to that. But it makes a lot of sense because a lot of these coaches, sometimes they'll probably overpromise or oversell the service because there's not a tangible product. Well, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I know, even though I'm not grossly familiar with it, but there's definitely laws surrounding pyramid schemes and multi-level marketing. Yeah, insurance has to be careful because we'll have guys make a big commission, and then if we post that check and be like, oh, you can live this life, technically they can kind of crack down. It's like, if you're insinuating this, they can go back after you and almost try to make you pay like reparations to people that didn't make that money. Interesting. But, my thing is 20 years ago, there was none of this online coaching stuff. The big thing was like Amway, and a lot of people did
what's that damn cosmetics company? Oh,
Mary
Kay. You know, these are all, pyramids.
Yeah,
but the two I just mentioned actually have a legit product behind them.
Yeah.
There's other ones that the product is just a farce. It only exists so you could have the pyramid of multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So my whole thing, whenever I evaluated any business opportunity or anyone asked me for advice on a business opportunity, I'll be like, pyramids and multi-level marketing is not a bad thing, but there better be an underlying product that's real.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real. And like I said, Mary Kay and Amway do have that, but a lot of them don't. It'd be just some BS freaking vitamin that nobody cares about or something like that, or a magazine subscription.
Some placebo vitamin.
It's like no one's buying this for, okay, and here's how you find it. Okay, that opportunity, okay. If you sold just that product.
Yes.
Okay, you sold just that product. Could you make 6 figures or whatever you want to live on?
Yeah.
Just selling that product to people? Or is your priority going to be recruiting people to go sell that product?
Yep.
And then that person's priority is going to be recruiting people to sell that product, not actually selling the product.
Yeah.
And once you, if the answer to that is no, you're screwed,
yeah,
then you're screwed. And now like think about that within the coaching business. Yeah. Think about that within the coaching. Now, if I go work for Amway, I haven't looked into it, but I'm assuming you could be an Amway rep and only sell Amway products and not recruit people to come over behind you and probably do okay. I know you can for Mary Kay because I know some women that have done that. All right. But the coaching business, think about it. In a multi-level marketing flavor, what I just described, I'm selling you a program to teach you how to coach.
Yeah.
And the way you make money as a coach is teaching other coaches how to coach. Now this has become multi-level marketing, dude.
Yeah.
And that should fall under MLM regulations.
Yeah.
So I could totally see that, dude. And I don't know if the situation you're talking about was because of that or false advertising, like you said, with guaranteeing people to make $1 million or whatever. But the MLM stuff, I don't know how this is any different.
Yeah.
You know?
It's because people, they have this instant gratification mindset. So what these people will do, and I'll relate it to also the insurance deal, is I'll see even in my previous association, is people will take their commissions, stack up the commissions, and then they'll go buy a watch, and they'll go buy just a bunch of little lifestyle materials. They'll go buy the car, they'll go buy an older Lamborghini, they'll go get a whatever, just something super flashy. And then they use that in the online coaching space and then in a lot of these sales spaces as to use it as a heavy selling item of why you should do this, why you should buy my coaching, why you should work with me. But what it really turns into is it's more of a hardcore recruiting approach opposed to pushing the quality of the product or the service. And what sucks is these people are spending their time and their money to build somebody else's company. Yeah. They have no equity.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking. I'm looking at kids that are buying cars right now. I'm spending money on stuff that have literally depreciating, assets. I don't even know if you would call it an asset since it's depreciating, but like literally depreciating items.
Right.
So you're burning your time, you're burning your money for a company you have no equity.
Yep, that's right.
You know what I mean? And the same deal with the coaching space, because like there's no equity in that, because I couldn't come to your venture capital group and be like,
it's done.
Hey, bro, well, what's the based off my EBITDA here? Like, what multiple would you give me? You would laugh at me.
It's the same with a lot of transactional businesses, man. It's hard for real estate companies to sell because of that reason too. They can, but it's not. It's looked at very differently. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, the whole pyramid thing. I look at. We're in Miami. You were with Wes Watson and on social media before, so I'll just use him as an example again. I'm just guessing that what he's selling is how to coach people to do this mindset thing, because I think initially he was a mindset coach and he was trying to get students under him to do this mindset thing. So now, and he was successful with it, allegedly. So if he was successful with this whole mindset coaching thing, now he wants to scale. Well, now he's going to teach other people how to sell this mindset thing. If he's teaching them how to sell the mindset thing and not teaching them how to sell a coaching program that pretends it's talking a mindset to sell another coaching program, that's different. That's not multi-level marketing. That's only 2 levels, and that's okay. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. So I don't know. It's probably more information than we need to talk about with those guys. But
no. So
that's it. I think it's interesting, Tristan, though, that you've separated yourself from it. Yeah. Because for a little bit there on social media, you were kind of going that direction pretty hard, and I don't know if you had an epiphany.
I bought in. I think one thing I think that the market is doing really good is taking advantage of and listen, we're all young men watching this right now. The desire for flash and the cool, sexy, I want the Bugatti, the jet, I would love to have all of that right now. But then when I look at the people that have built legitimate businesses, I don't know anybody. You have unicorn situations like a Zuckerberg that'll come into hundreds of millions of dollars in his early mid-20s. But the odds of that happening is literally like 1 out of a billion people. It didn't happen with Elon Musk, who's the richest man in the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? His wealth started accumulating in mid-30s and then like even into his late 40s. I remember when he was acquiring Twitter, now X, you know, I remember reading, and I don't know the full financial, you know, strategy on how he did this, but he had to take out a loan from one of his other companies because he didn't have, people just think when they put your net worth out there, that you just have that sitting liquid ready to go.
It's in a mattress,
right? It's just ready to go. You know what I mean? And so it's like, once I started like really like accepting, like, okay, dude, if I do want the yacht and the jet and I want to build this, have the waterfall, I got to build my own company. And I'm probably going to eat shit for more years than I want, whether I think I'm a genius or not. It's probably going to cost me more than I think it's going to cost me. It's probably going to take me longer than I think it's going to take me. But like, what's my other option? Just live my whole life as a 9-to-5 or W2er? Just wake up one day 6 years old and realize I could have at least taken the shot.
Right.
You know, like what happens if you take the shot? You know what I mean? I go back to my sales job. It's not going anywhere.
Right. And you're building something too. I mean, from my understanding with what you were doing at the other place, it's like, it's transactional when you're selling a life insurance policy, but you're building a system of how these leads come in. You're building a system of how you're recruiting people to become part of that organization. Now that actually is something that's potentially sellable to a private equity firm. Now that private equity firm, or it could be a competitive buyer, like we call it a strategic buyer, that someone's already in the industry, maybe that complements another side of life insurance that, hey, we need a life insurance arm. Let's buy these guys instead of building it from scratch. Typically in deals like that in the insurance industry, they're not going to, here's the check right into the sunset. It's going to look more like what my deal is. Hey, here's a pretty big check, but to get the rest of this money, you're going to stick around here for 3 to 5 years and make sure this stuff works. You feel me?
Like key man protection.
Well, you could look at it that way. Yeah. I mean, it's really more, you could definitely look at it that way. But for me, my deal is this, bro. You're going to come on, John. We're going to pay you 60% up front. Boom, as a check. Or no, I'm sorry. We're going to give you 80% up front, but hear me out. The other 20% is going to be contingent with all of this money still being on the books 12 months from now. All the revenue you brought still has to be on the books 12 months from now. And then you get that other 20%. And then going into year 2, we're going to give you a rider that gives you a bonus on what you actually grew this business of 150% of whatever it grew that year on top of, okay, so we bought it at, say, $10. Now it's worth $18 24 months later. We're going to take that $8 growth and times it by 1.5, and boom, that's a bonus you're getting on this sale. And additionally, we're going to make you of the whole deal itself, you got to take 10% of it at least in stock in our company. So I looked at these like they were gotchas, because at first they presented to me like, okay, here's the dollar amount. Now when I actually saw the letter of intent with the actual breakdown, I'm like, oh, okay, gotcha. Here's another gotcha. Here's another gotcha. But then I started looking really closely at it. I had just lost my mom previous that year, and I just started looking at life. I go, who the hell am I? 10 years earlier when I started this company, you know, I wasn't sure if I should be walking away from my $140,000 a year job. And now here you are presenting me with an opportunity to never have to work the rest of my life. And I never stopped doing the exact same job. It's the same job I was doing 10 years earlier for someone else. I just do it for myself now, literally. Okay, and I was successful at it. All right, so I am going to take this deal. And since I have to work, they made me work there for 5 years. Since you're making me work there 5 years, that 10% stock you're making me buy, F that. I'm going to take 35% of this deal in stock. So I took 35% of the deal in stock instead of 10%. Well, in the private equity world, okay, every time the private equity firm changes, they sell it to another one. Typically, if it's going the right direction, which it was, the shareholders benefit dramatically from that. Okay. So April of 2015 is when I sold it. Our company gets an email, or the shareholders of the company that I'm now a part of, get an email saying, big investor meeting, get on here later today, blah, 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 blah. It was an announcement that a new private equity firm was going to be our backer. So the private equity firm currently backing us, that gave me the money to make me part of the deal in the first place, and other people who are in the same boat, you know, are now that private equity firm is going to sell this whole thing to somebody else. Well, other people have been in the company have been waiting 6.5 years for this to happen.
Yeah.
I waited 2 months. I was there April 30th and just get this thing in July. Well, the stock tripled as a result of that. That 35% deal got tripled. So now the stock for me was worth more than the entire deal itself.
Yeah.
What a good move. Now, everyone else at the organization had what we call a liquidity event, and I had it too, a liquidity opportunity.
Yeah.
You get to take money off the table when that happens.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I wasn't counting on that money anyway. They weren't able to tell me. The CFO wasn't able to say, hey, dipshit, we're about to sell in 2 months. You're going to make out like a bandit on this. Come aboard. He's not allowed to speculate like that because of what you were saying earlier.
Yeah.
You can't guarantee stuff. That would have been a big no-no for him to say, a big SEC violation, a big bunch of violations. So here I am now with an opportunity to take at least 50% of the stock I could now liquidate in that 30-day period. Okay? Everyone else in the organization's running around, selling their stock, high-fiving each other because they want the money. It's like we said about Elon Musk. It's not liquid money when it's just on paper. Now they get to make that liquid money.
Yeah.
They're paying off mortgages and shit like that. Not everybody was in the same financial situation as me. I was already like rich. These guys were, you know, maybe partners at an organization that was smaller, or maybe partners at an organization that was, you know, a smaller, you know, a lower profit margin. And maybe people thought they had 100 employees, so they're making a ton. No, they had 100 employees, but they had, you know, 6 partners and their profit margins were only 7%. So those guys ain't freaking riding into the sunset making as much money as you think.
Yeah.
So these guys needed this liquidity event because they're paying off their second home, stuff like that. Dude, I don't need this money.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it in there. Let's go. My accountant, my lawyers tell me I'm out of my freaking mind. I go, dude, yeah, whatever, man. You go, bird in the hand's worth more than 2 in the bush, buddy. Take the money,
Yeah.
Nah, we're going to roll it. And the IRS also said, my accountant was kind of put the seal of the deal. He's like, dude, if you take that money out, it's going to be considered short-term capital gains that you're going to have to pay like regular income tax. And I go, for that, dude, it stays. 4.5 years later, right before I was walking out the door, okay, the last day I worked there, they buy you out at the stock price that following day, okay? About 2 weeks before I walked out the door, we get another call similar to the one I just described. That private equity firm was now selling it to a new private equity firm, and the stock tripled again at that point. All right. So had I left the organization 2 weeks and a day early, I would not have benefited from that because it was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now this is worth 35% times 3. It's 105% times 3 again, 315. So the stock ends up being worth 315% of my total deal. Okay. So one of the things I talk about on my social media and in my book, 2000% Raise, is as a W-2 employee, you don't even know this world exists. These opportunities for wealth and generational wealth in my case exist. I never stopped doing the exact same job that I was doing working for Arthur J. Gallagher. I literally just took myself and instead of being down here, put myself on top of the org chart and benefited from those layers. And I feel like I was fortunate to do that. So, you know, you circle all the way back and it's like, dude, I'm telling you this on this podcast for free right now. I'm not gonna go sell a course telling people because I don't know if it's gonna work out that way. Yeah, I can explain it to you guys. This is how it worked out for me. This is why being a business owner is better than being a W-2 employee.
So to wrap up on that and give advice to the young audience that I have, and a lot of them are in sales, the young guys and girls in sales that are out there burning their cash, right? Because it sounds like you were pretty smart with your cash. It doesn't sound like when you had cash coming in, you were out there, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe you were burning some, but like,
not really.
When you're working for an opportunity and you're not building any equity, but you got some good sales commission and things coming in, and you're considering exiting, or maybe they're not even thinking about it. Like, should these young guys and girls, how long should they stay in an opportunity? Because I remember you telling me, and you were like, you really want me to tell them to leave? I was like, they make you an override. I was like, I wish somebody would have told me sooner.
Yeah.
I've made a good amount of gross money over the years, but I can't get the time back. I know I'm still in my 20s, but I want the time back, and I can never get it back.
So the biggest thing that it's a hard calculation because it's subjective, you know what I mean? And it's definitely not black and white. But what you got to look at is, all right, I'm a W-2 employee or a 1099 employee, either one, and I'm with this organization. How much money am I making from them? Now take a step back and say, okay, how much are they making from me? So I'll tell you what my calculation was at Arthur J. Gallagher. I had about an $800,000 book of business that I brought in. They were paying me $140,000. No. I was paying them $660,000 is the way you need to look at it.
Yeah.
What are they doing for that 660 grand? And some of the things are tangible, some aren't. The tangible ones be like, well, your office, you have to pay rent for your office. That assistant, that client service rep, the 1-800 number that your clients have the ability to call into, what's that worth? Put a dollar on that. Okay, that doesn't get us to the 660 grand, but what else is there? Okay, well, the Arthur J. Gallagher name on your business card, are you getting meetings because of that, or are you getting meetings because you're John Cerasani? And that's the one that's hard, because corporate America is going to keep putting Kool-Aid down your throat to convince you that you're only successful because you're part of this organization.
Yeah.
Now, I had an assistant at Gallagher, and it's the best thing that ever, or we called it an account manager. Her days were numbered the day I walked in. You could tell she wasn't happy there. She had a foot out the door. Well, that was my assistant. And I liked her. We got along well. But, dude, it's 4:59 p.m. and I ask her to do something, that ain't happening, dude. Yeah. She's out of there. And I'm this young, hungry guy that's trying to crush it. We didn't have laptops. You had to be in the office to access your computer back then. And, I'm working on weekends. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm looking around the damn office. Nobody else is. It's a damn ghost town. I'm getting to the office at like 7:15 in the morning, which ain't that early. No one's there. It's a freaking ghost town. Do we walk around that office at 5:15 on a Thursday or God, lo and behold, at 5:15 on a Friday? No, there's 0 people in that damn office. So I start saying, I put all this work in to get this client, and now I'm supposed to hand it off to an account manager that, isn't going to be thorough, and you can tell she doesn't really want to be here. Nah, F that. I'm going to start doing the account management myself. And at that point, I realized this is not that freaking hard to do, dude. Okay, I could put together my own spreadsheets. I will teach myself Excel. I will make my own PowerPoints. I will make sure I'm calling my clients back immediately. I see an email come up, they're getting a freaking call.
Yeah.
Okay? And my account manager wasn't doing that. And a lot of people in the insurance industry have account managers that aren't doing that kind of stuff. So now you're sitting here trusting people with your book of business, dude. It's your livelihood, and you're relying on someone else to do stuff that isn't going to do it as well as you would have done it.
Yeah.
Here's a tip. Do it your freaking self. Now, all these insurance agencies out there, when they hire people out, you don't have to worry that we got the best in the best, dude. We have account managers and senior account executives that are making 200 grand. You have the best in the business. They will not care as much as you care, period. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So it forced me to learn that stuff. And that's when I realized I could do all this stuff. What am I sitting here working for Gallagher for? All right? As long as I could bring in revenue on my own, not using the Gallagher name, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
And people would come at me and say, dude, no one's going to work with John Cerasani Insurance in the middle market. Like, they're going to be like, dude, who the hell? Well, guess what, buddy? I ain't going to name it John Cerasani Insurance then. I'm going to give it a name where people don't freaking know, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We called it Northwest Comprehensive. Yeah. People were like, oh, that's a cool name, man. How long you guys been in business? Oh, a little bit now. What's the ownership structure? Oh, a little bit now. You don't engage in stuff that's going to exploit how little you are and how new you are.
Yeah.
If I say I'm John Cerasani, the president of Cerasani Insurance Services, what kind of questions is that client going to ask?
Yeah.
A bunch that I don't want to answer.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm John Cerasani. I'm looking to work on your account. I'm with Northwest Comprehensive. Oh, shoot. Where's your address? Oh, gosh, you're at 401 North Michigan Avenue? Holy smokes. You guys are right in the middle of downtown. Yep, sure are. It's a freaking Regis office space where you shared office space with people, dude. It's a mailbox.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's your email address? Well, it's not going to be John at Northwest Comprehensive, because we have way too many Johns at this organization, obviously. Yeah. It's just me. It's going to be Cerasj, Ceras J. First 5 letters of my last name, first initial, because that's how people did that. That's how the big corporations did that.
Yeah.
So everything I put out there emulated big time. You go to my website, you want to call my number? Yeah, dude, you're not getting my direct line, bro. You're calling an 877 number, dude. And you're going to have to press the extension if you want to hit me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm the only person that worked there. But you're still going to have to do that because it emulated large. You know what I'm saying? So all those things that the corporate America would tell me is the real reason that 660 grand is a fair deal. Once I figured out everything I just said, dude, I don't need any of that stuff. I'll keep all that money for myself. And the good news was I was only 27. So I figured it out pretty damn quickly.
Yeah.
If I was 35, stuck around like most people do, now you're stuck, because not only does that 140 versus 800 is a lot bigger now, but the 140 is also higher.
Yeah.
Now you're walking away from a $250,000 job or a $300,000 job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or worse, $600,000 job.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I got news for you. You could make $600,000 in insurance sales working for someone else. You can make $6 million on your own, probably.
That's what I'm trying to tell these young guys. I'm like, it's not overnight. You know what I mean? I think it's like it's good paid training. But I'm seeing these guys just go nuts with just buying stuff. I'm like, dude, if you just saved up, you're gonna expedite your process of being able to leave because the money will buy you time, for you to figure out building because you're gonna need capital to buy you time of building out your own thing.
Well, dude, people are your original question on these kids spending money on stupid stuff, dude. Dude, nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares, dude. Like, you could buy a Ferrari if you make 90 grand if you really wanted to and make that your priority. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what are you really doing? Yeah, fine. Get a couple nice things or whatever, dude. But, like, you're going to wearing a $15,000 watch and you're, driving a freaking car that's cost you more than 100 grand and you're just barely making 200 grand right now, dude. No one's doing more business with you because of those two things, dude. And as far as...
And the people they're attracting are just...
and it
kids.
Could be... Yeah, well, exactly. But even if they're attracting the right people to them and putting them in the rooms that they want to be around, they think at least, that doesn't get you in those rooms, number one. But like maybe a girlfriend or whatever. You're going to the club and you're pulling up in your Ferrari. Good for you, man. How old are you? Oh, you're 26. What'd you make last year? 180. Dude, 180 is pretty good for a 26-year-old. But you know what? You just pissed it all away by buying that Ferrari, dumbass.
Yeah.
You just every benefit that you would have had in life that you were able to make 180 as a 26-year-old, you just flushed down the toilet with that purchase. Yep. Okay? You just basically said, you're the equivalent of a $70,000 person now, but you're 180 now, but hey, you got a Ferrari. No, dude. You should be at 180 putting that money away or buying a rental property with it or doing something that's going to set you up later for life. And, whatever. I'm not going to tell people how to do that stuff, but on top of that, you're also putting people around you now that expect this of you.
Yeah.
And you've set the bar high for yourself, and that's going to it's going to remain there, dude. You've defined yourself now in social networks as the guy that's going to throw down at the table at the club. Yeah. You defined yourself as the person that's going to pay for everyone's plane tickets to go out to a freaking Miami or Las Vegas next weekend. That's you now. You've defined yourself as that.
Yeah.
And now you got to keep up with yourself. You said keep it up with the Joneses. You got to keep up with yourself. So is that 180 going to be 400 in a couple of years? Yeah. Is it going to be 800 a couple of years after? Oh, you're not really sure? Don't freaking position yourself that way until you are sure. Actually, make sure you actually have the freaking money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
stack up the money and have some form of equity before you start spoiling yourself.
Brother, dude, people fucking define themselves as what, dude? You really like cars that much? You driving a Ferrari because you love cars that much? Or you doing it to impress people, bro? Yeah. Like, seriously, dude. So now you're sitting there, you did that to impress people. Okay, this is the image you put out there. Good luck. You just put stress on yourself for the rest of your life because you're going to have to keep living up to that image.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And dude, there's a lot of people in Chicago. There was a guy that got arrested a few years ago. No one really understood how this guy made money. He had a big ass boat. He was always flexing money, all this crap. And one day, sure enough, start getting links texted to me and DM'd to me from people. And it's like people, unfortunately, were like happy he went down because they thought he was just such a big mouth. But it all made sense now. You know what I mean? He was freaking giving out car loans to people on cars that don't exist, manipulating stuff and getting loans from banks and then foreclosing and keeping the money. It was just a big, caught up with him.
Wow.
Took someone to drop the dime, dude. And okay, now it makes sense how was he able to do that. How he was always buying bottles at the club, all that stuff. I always get worried, to be honest with you, when I see people spending money at the club, strip clubs included. It's like, all right, dude, if you're letting money like that just go through your hands like water. Yeah. I don't know, buddy. I don't know, man. What are you doing to get it? Something that's probably below board. Yeah. Because you could just turn, like Henry Hill says it in Goodfellas. We'd go spend all our money, and once we were gone, we just go rob other people to get more money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whatever you're doing that's illegal or shady to get that money, you got that system. If you worked your ass off for it and doing this stuff the right way, you're going to value that money a little bit more than, bottles of Grey Goose every weekend, but, teach their own.
Dude, this has been great, and I was like, man, I'm gonna take 20 minutes. We're 45 minutes into this, 49 minutes into this. But I've watched you, hearing your story about you sit on the stock deal that you took within your company, and I'm sitting here thinking, I watch you so many times when you put on social media that you walk away from blackjack deals or anything like that. You'll walk, and I'm like, how did you separate the discipline from like, you sat in that deal for years, gambling.
Yeah.
And obviously you obviously had a lot of intelligence of like building out your company. You know what it was going to do. But still, dude, like I see you walk away, and I've played blackjack a couple times and slots with Bob Menery, and I lost everything. So I'm like sitting here thinking like, bro, like,
here's how you got, because the only way to beat the game is to beat it how I do, unless you're going to cheat, which would be card counting, and they're going to ban you from casinos all over the place if you do that. So I'm way too high profile, not even just because of social media, because how much I bet. The casinos are going to catch me in 2.4 seconds if I card count in blackjack. But there's something called basic strategy, which you're allowed to do, which most good blackjack players do when the math is in your favor, okay? Or as favorable as it could be. The casino still has about a 2% advantage on you if you play basic strategy perfectly. Well, most people lose 100% of their money when they go to the casino, so what's this 2% BS if they're all playing basic strategy? Well, that 2% diminishes you over time. It hits you, and eventually all your money's gone. Okay, that's what happens. Sometimes right away, sometimes it takes, the whole trip. Sometimes it, whatever. You got to look at it like this, man. The pendulum is going to swing each way, all right? Think about if you're flipping a coin, all right? You might flip 6 tails in a row. Yeah. Well, if you're betting on heads and you bet $50 on heads those 6 times, well, guess what? You just lost $300. If you went to the casino with only $300, you're done. Yeah. So that coin flip, everyone could agree, is 50-50, right? Yeah. All right. So now what if I brought, $1,000 and I was betting $50 a shot, or $5,000 and I was only betting $50 a shot? I could withstand those 6 losses in a row. Yeah. And wait for my heads to come up 8 times in a row, or whatever. The pendulum's going to switch back in my favor. And the only advantage inherently that you have as a player over the casino, there's 2. How much money you're going to bet and how long you're going to play for. So if you could manage that money properly, all right, get up and leave whenever the hell you want, raise your bet and decrease your bet whenever you want, have enough money with you for that pendulum to swing in your favor, okay? And you play basic strategy, you could win at the casino. And that's what I talk about in my blackjack pamphlet. It's called the Cerasani rules. Yeah. And guys, if I approached you on the street and said, hey, I'm gonna, let's do a coin flip. One of us is gonna be allowed to call it when we quit. One of us is allowed to say how much we're gonna bet each hand, and one of us is allowed, and the same person's also gonna get to determine when we stop playing. Which person would you want to be? You'd want to be the person with those, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we put value on that. Maybe you can't put a dollar amount or a percentage of value on it, but there's value on that. Yeah. All right? So if you could utilize that to your favor and quit while you're ahead in a casino, you can walk out of there a winner.
It's crazy. How'd you do last year? Did you end up?
I'm up a ton last year. I had 3 nights, 3 nights. And by the way, that's another reason I'm not so hard on the Wes Watsons and Andy Elliott's of the world, dude. As soon as I turn around trying to sell a blackjack pamphlet for $25, oh, he's a scam artist. He's a con artist. Oh, dude, just don't buy it, bro. I promise. I'm not trying to scam everybody. It's like, trust me, don't buy it then, buddy, please. Yeah, I'm up a lot, dude. The last 4 years have been very hot, so I'm doing very well. Yep.
What's your least favorite casino?
My least favorite?
Yeah, which one do you just hate the most and which one do you love the most?
All right. Well, Baha Mar in the Bahamas, I hate. And I still go there because it's beautiful.
I was going to say, I feel like I see you there once a quarter.
I still go there all the time, but I still hate it. So they do something that no other casino in America does, even though they're in the Bahamas, not America, but the other casino in the Bahamas doesn't do it either. Baha Mar, for some freaking reason, flips over the dealer's second card instead of the first card. So when a dealer is dealing, they put their first card face down, and then they deal everyone out, and then they put their second card face down. And at most casinos, the first card then gets flipped over if that's the card everyone sees. Yeah. Baha Mar doesn't do that. They put the first one face down, and then when it gets to their second card, they do it face up.
Does that affect basic strategy?
It doesn't affect basic strategy. It doesn't really affect the math at all. Yeah. But it gets in my head because I like to rotate. I like to sit at the last spot of the table. Yeah. And I'll sometimes do one spot or 2 spots. Yeah. So my thing is when I play 2 spots, whatever my card that came up, or if, let's say I play one spot. At most casinos, whatever that card flipped over, because it was the first card flipped over, that would have been my card had I played the second spot.
Yeah.
So it's like a 6. I'm like, oh, good, I didn't play that spot. If it's an ace, damn it, I should have played that spot.
Yeah.
I don't have the luxury of that little entertainment value of the game.
Yeah.
The way Bahamar does it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no real math behind it, but it pisses me off how they do it. And then I just get like laser focused on it every damn time. And then I'll like lose. Like if the dealer shows a king and I had 15 or a 14 and I hit and I start busting, then I'll look and see the dealer had the other card was a 6. I go, every other casino that 6 would have been up. I would have stayed on that. That's BS.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
All right, dude. Well, I'm going to read you your ChatGPT.
Oh, no.
So let's see how accurate this is.
I have never ChatGPT'd myself, by the way.
I ChatGPT'd John the other day. I was like, this is our third, fourth podcast. I'm going to ChatGPT him and see if I can find something new to talk about. But John Cerasani is a seasoned entrepreneur, venture capitalist, and author known for significant contributions to the business world. A graduate from Northwestern University, he gained early recognition by being featured in Crane's 40 Under 40 for establishing a successful concert and event promotion business during his junior year. Cerasani founded and later sold a prosperous insurance business, which allowed him to retire at 42. However, his entrepreneurial spirit led him to establish Glencrest Global, a venture capital firm through which he invests in various startups and growth stage companies. In addition to his investment of endeavors, Cerasani is the author of 2000% Raise, a book that provides insights into entrepreneurship and achieving substantial growth. He also hosts the 2000% Raise podcast, where he shares business strategies and interviews successful entrepreneurs. Cerasani maintains an active presence on social media platforms, including Instagram, TikTok, where he shares business advice and personal experiences. He also runs a YouTube channel, John Cerasani TV, featuring content such as The Partner, show where he collaborates with entrepreneurs seeking business partnerships. They got your kids' names on here too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Las Vegas and Schaumburg, LA, where you spend all your time is what they say.
Dude, that's pretty good summary there.
Right?
Yeah, they kind of nailed it.
Yeah. So they got pictures of you on here too as well.
Nice.
Guys, another episode of Adversity Kings. I got you. Here's the gift. My sister opened up a little bakery business.
Oh, yeah?
She's making cookies. Shout out to Leah's Bakery.
Perfect timing. Thank you. What's your sister's name?
Aaliyah.
I met her, right?
Yeah, you met Aaliyah.
Thank you, Aaliyah. These will be eaten in the Uber when I leave here today.
Dude, you're going to love them. So, and it's all good ingredients. I think she said it's all like organic ingredients.
Good for her. Is she doing e-commerce or brick and mortar or what?
She's doing, right now, she's like doing just like direct to individuals she wants to work with initially. And then I'm giving them to like the guys that I know that are the richest.
Yeah.
Tell her to sell
well, dude, was she open during Christmas or?
No, she actually wasn't open during Christmas. She was just baking for all of us.
Yeah.
So she opened right
tell her
after.
to try to keep it around to get all the kinks out. And then once it comes to the holiday season, you start gifting this stuff to employees or clients.
Yes.
That's where the money's at.
Oh, bro. That's like I'm like, dude, I'm going to run it up. I'm going to just give these everybody that'll work for you. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's go. All right, guys, have a great day. Make sure you guys follow John Cerasani, all social medias. We'll put his Instagram in here. So
cool, man.
Let's go. Have
Thanks,
a blessed
brother.
day, bro.
Appreciate
yes,
it,
sir.
Bro. Yeah, man.